Does this look like the Harbinger Motel to me, to you, to... Oh, fuck. Does this look like the goddamn Harbinger Motel to you?
The greatest interviewer of all time. Dan Allen Gaming. If there's one podcast you want to hear this year, it's Dan Allen Gaming.
Dan, we've got a job to do.
Mr. Allen, I've been waiting for you, Mr. Dan Allen. Anyone who's anyone has heard of the likes of you, especially your YouTube channel. It's amazingly entertaining. Good job.
This is Geralt of Rivia, and you're watching Dan Allen Gaming. Yeah.
This is Agent 47. Subscribe to Dan Allen Gaming. He's a great guy.
I always knew we were destined for something great to happen. A lot of people want to change their cards, not me. I like the hand we've been dealt.
I'm gonna come find you, little man thing.
Dan, I knew you'd love me. Come on now, just a little taste.
Dan Allen Gaming. He's a lovely boy.
Super Dan, you number one. Woohoo!
This is Colt calling out to Dan the Animal Allen. I'm gonna break this fucking loop, or I'm gonna break your neck.
You're watching Dan Allen Gaming, and you're going to regret it.
Dan, you and I are gonna take back the universe for humanity.
We're having a problem with Metal Gear, and I need your help. So contact me by codec, damn it!
Dan Allen! You and I going dark now!
Are you being cheeky, Dan?
I like to keep this for close encounters.
Tune into Dan Allen Gaming, or else I'm coming after you. You're fucking down.
I've been interviewed by Dan Allen of Dan Allen Gaming. Not to be mistaken for Van Allen. You know the belts? No, not the same guy. Not even related. Okay, Jackie out.
All the best to you. Just don't cross me.
Dan Allen Gaming, you have got to be one of the best things to come out of Australia. Did you know that? You and me, we would have been unstoppable. Anyways, outlaws for life, partner.
Your face, your ass, what's the difference?
It's okay, Dan. I know you didn't mean to hurt me. But you shouldn't
have done that. It fucking hurts!
Let's find out if Dan Allen Gaming really is the best fucking show in town.
Damn! You eat babies! Everybody knows that!
Welcome everybody. We should be having audio right now. How are we all on this fine evening? We all good? How are we all feeling? Ted Raimi is about to be joining us for a live conversation all about the Quarry and his incredible career. Guys, if you're new here, I am Dan, the man. And if you're new to this series, I interview some of the best voice actors and actors in the gaming landscape. As you saw there, that video just shows a couple of the guests that I've had on over the last year or so. Now, Ted is just about to come on, guys, so just bear with me here. What I want to say quickly is there is another announcement, okay? Straight after this show today, I'll be announcing the next guest. Now, it's from the Quarry as well. So get ready. I'll announce that after the interview, so stick around, but you might be very happy with the guests that we've got lined up. Okay, I don't want to give it away, but we will announce that after. Now, also, one of you could do me a favor, please, and post this on Reddit, if you could. I'd really appreciate that, guys, if you could share it around. James Tukino becoming a member, I really appreciate that, brother. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the best of the best. Who have we got in here? Thomas Isaacs, Mary J. Anakin Skywalker is here. The Northern Nerdcast, Hannah, Chris, Joseph, Carmen. Guys, if you want to ask our man a question, please leave it in the super chat. I'll get to as many as I possibly can, okay? It is tough. We have time restraints, okay? But I can't wait. Ted was incredible in this game, and I'm really excited to dive deep into what the process was like. Did you guys enjoy Ted's performance in the game? Have you beaten the game? I'm guessing you have. And please, if you have a fun moment, please share it on Twitter, Instagram from this chat. And me and Ted may retweet or reshare anything. I have finished Horizon Forbidden West. I have. It's a good game. He is the brother of Sam Raimi. That is correct. He was in all three films. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. He was in all three as Hoffman. Maybe we'll chat about that today. Okay, we've all completed it many times. That's great to see. Yeah, Dylan. He's another fan favorite. You got such a great cast in this game. That was one of the great things about it. You had, Justin Smith, Miles Robbins, Ted Raimi, Siobhan Williams, Holston Sage, Brenda Song, Ariel Winter, Ethan, David, Arquette, Lance Herricks. I mean, it just keeps going on and on. I mean, what a cast. Ted's performance in The Quarry was amazing. He is the best guy. Yeah. Oh, we got some Xena fans in here too. Do you like Ryan? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. He had an interesting development throughout the game. Travis and Laura are the coolest characters in the game. All right, guys, are we ready to get Ted in? A 1 in the chat if you want to get Ted in, and we'll get this thing going. A 1 in the chat, and we'll get this thing going, guys. I just need to see that chat moving at a Ferrari pace. You know what I mean? You know, like an F1 car, just flying, you know. I need the excitement! Ted Raimi is on the show. I need you to lift. I need you to get the excitement. Here we go. Look at this. Stream of ones. Look at that. I like that very much. All right, guys. One more trailer. And just after the trailer, Ted Raimi will be here.
Family is the most important thing in the world. But if your whole family, you know, like every last one of them decided to jump down the bottom of a well and they're all just hanging on the end of a rope, how can one person be expected to pull them all back out? You can't. So you pull on that rope and you're just going to fall right down at the bottom of the well with the rest of them. And what's the point of that?
What? There is a lot more to this than you realize.
Like what?
Kidnapping, murder, cover-ups. I think the whole Hackett family is in on it.
You have no idea what's going on here. Not a goddamn clue. All right, let's do this.
Who should I call?
911.
You mean 911? Who says 911?
Goodbye, cruel world.
We gotta get out. I'm gonna enjoy watching you die.
This isn't a ghost story. It's a creature feature. It's really happening, and you're all in it.
This is gonna get a little messy.
Ted, you are live, brother. How are you,
all
mate?
Right. I'm all right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Nice to talk to you. How's can you see and hear me okay and everything?
You're looking fresh. How are you, mate? You going good?
Good. I feel good. It's a nice day here. It's hot here in USA and Michigan, and it's kind of looking forward to, I don't know, maybe I got a neighbor who's got a pool, so I'm kind of looking forward to jumping in there this afternoon. So we'll see how it goes. How are you down there in Oz?
Well, can you guess the time down here at the moment, Ted?
Oh, geez. Okay, well, let's see. I spent a good deal of time in New Zealand, so let me backtrack from that country across the Tasman Sea. So it would be, okay, I'm going to guess, let's see. Okay, I'll wildly guess 9 a.m.
6 a.m.
That's it. I was sort of close.
Have you been to Australia?
No, I have not. Foolishly, I spent many years living in New Zealand, shooting a bunch of different TV shows, and I sadly never made it over to Oz, and I'm very disappointed. I wish I had done so, because what a country, and I'm so sorry I never yet got to see Sydney and Perth and all those wonderful things. Yeah, and I really do want to see them. You know, also, you know, I want to visit the country where, you know, the greatest dystopian movies in the world are made. Mad Max, baby. Is that what we're talking? Mad Max, you know, all of them. That's not just, you know, not just that series. I mean, there's a ton of them that obviously some don't get to America. So I've kind of had to search for them online to find them. And my favorite, actually, even more than Mad Max, and I love that series, is The Rover.
What a great movie with Rob Pattinson. Yeah.
Great movie. It came and went. Nobody saw it. I went back to see that twice in the theater. It was so impressive. But again, another great Australian dystopian future movie. It's just, you guys make them like nobody's business.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, speaking of making it like nobody's business, you were phenomenal in this game, mate. I got to say, you really stood out. Everyone in the chat agrees that you were phenomenal. Tell us about the process and how it all came about. I'm interested to know.
Sure. Well, first of all, hello everyone who's joined the chat. Thanks so much for stopping by, Dan Allen Gaming, and talking to me. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry, I completely forgot your question. Forgive me.
How did it all come about with the Quarry? And I'm guessing they reached out to you, yeah?
They did. The head writer there, his name is Graham Resnick, and I believe Will Byles, the director, originally came up with the story, if I'm not mistaken. I could have those facts wrong, but I think so. Graham, who's an incredible writer, was tasked with putting all of those 1,000+ pages together, and I knew him because nothing. It's just an insane amount of work. But it's not his first time at the barbecue. And Graham and I had also worked together on another TV show called Dead Wax, which Graham created. And that was for Shudder TV. And it was such a weird and super original idea, super spooky idea. And I had a great time working on it, me and Hannah Gross and a few others. And on that one, that was a traditional kind of audition deal. And Graham and I met, and we got to like each other and respect each other. And I think, and so Graham called me up and said, "Look, I'm doing this video game. Do you want to be in it?" And Graham's maybe one of 3 or 4 people in Hollywood that if he says he wants you for something, you just say yes, because I completely trust him. So I'm glad I did. It happened to be one of the best decisions I ever made in my career, because I had such a wonderful time on it.
And how long did you work on it? Like years and years, right? Because it was all through COVID and that period as well that you worked on. I believe you had to do some scenes without the other actors as well. Is that right?
Yeah, it made it an incredible pain in the ass to shoot because of that. So we would come in, shoot a couple sequences, then we couldn't come back because of COVID. And I don't mean COVID took anybody out, thank God. But I mean to say is some actors couldn't make it. Some were from other countries and had trouble, with immigration just because of COVID, and everything was very difficult, especially Miss Siobhan Williams, who is Canadian. And I believe that made it challenging for her, if I'm not mistaken. So it was tough. It was shot over a number of years, but it was well worth it. I was incredibly pleased with the results.
And were you familiar with the previous series from Will, Until Dawn? Had you?
I certainly was.
Yeah?
Yes. I have a really creaky old Xbox 360 from the Obama years. And I used to play. That was sort of one of the last games that would work on it. It didn't really work well. Kind of sucked. So I actually just ordered myself a new system. So I'm sure all you guys listening now are like, "Damn, dude, you're a dinosaur." But
so are you gonna pop the Quarry on? Are you gonna get PS5, Xbox? What are you thinking?
It's on its way. It should be here tomorrow, but it's like they were back ordered like a million years. So yeah, my PlayStation's coming tomorrow. So I'm so excited. That's all I'm doing tomorrow. Because I'm on that. I think, I'm gonna try and put the Quarry in, but I don't know. I haven't gotten a new system in so many years that, maybe some of your fans or listeners would know the best way to set that thing up. But
I'll help you out if you need it, mate.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
Okay. I'll need help. I will certainly need help.
What's it like seeing yourself in a video game? And it's not all the time in games is your face recreated 1-to-1 as well. This is you in this game in terms of looks,
it is.
Especially, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a joy because this is unlike any other video game I've voiced video games before.
Yeah.
But I've never had my face and done so realistically. Well, I'll tell you, it was very much like making a movie in that regard, in the finished product. So it was very gratifying. It was like watching a movie. And the director, Will Byles, is a photographer as well as a director, and he's excellent at both. And so cinematically, it's beautiful to look at. The lighting is very, very, very cinematic. And it was beautiful. I told Will, and happens to be the truth, recently, that I never in my life thought I would say, after all the movies I've done and all the directors of photography I've worked with, that the best lighting I was ever in was a video game. But it's true.
Wow. And wasn't it inspired by like 17th century painters or something like that, he said? I feel like...
Yes, I believe Will mentioned Caravaggio.
Yeah.
The Italian painter Caravaggio. And if you look at Caravaggio's paintings, you can see these very intensive shadows over very grisly and upsetting scenes. But more specifically, Caravaggio would also put these sort of red patterns and these sort of thick fabrics behind all of his subjects, no matter where they were, even if they happen to be outside. And it strangely works. And if you look at a lot of the shots in the Quarry, you can see that there. Strangely enough, there's some, things that sort of leaves, but that rather look like fabric. I just thought that was just great.
Do you get that on set, or do you only see that after the fact? Like, how does that work?
No, you only see it after the fact. Everything we had done, was done in a blank, empty studio.
Yeah.
Everything was done wearing what they call MOCAP suits. I'm sure your viewers right now know exactly what those are. But for those who don't, that's motion capture suits. So you're basically wearing a compression suit, which looks a lot like a diver suit. On those are a lot of little dots that the computer, when fed into a camera, extrapolates and then creates your character, essentially. So on the set, while we shot, there was nothing but a giant white stage. That's it.
Yeah. You got to be creative, don't you?
You do. And also it kind of removes a little bit of the traditional Hollywood sensory information that actors usually get, because of course, typically you're on a set, which is built by professional set designers, and there's props by professional prop makers. So you've got the right gun, you've got the right uniform, you've got the right set around you, but there was nothing here. In fact, the gun that I used in the, everything is representative, so the computer can figure it out later. And in this case, the gun that I had in my belt was a rubber band gun. It was literally a rubber band gun. And I remember that Skyler and I kept, joking that, if you ever escape out of the cell, my rubber band you to death, So it was, it was like that. It was basically like that. So, so that's the downside. The advantage, however, is that because there's no crew hardly, except a few technical people, and you're on a blank, empty stage, it really feels a lot like you're rehearsing for some black box theater thing in New York City or something. It feels like you're not really making the movie yet, and so there's a great sense of freedom. You sort of felt like, oh, this is just a rehearsal. We're not really shooting anything, and so I think we were all kind of free to take a lot more risks than we might have otherwise if it was an actual shoot with a camera and limited number of takes and time and stuff like that. So it was in that sense, it was very freeing.
And there's not traditional blocking, is there, and things like that? Or is it even more intense?
No, not traditional blocking, though there are some marks you have to hit.
Yeah.
But because, of course, there's no camera present, there's no focal length necessary. And because of that, specific marks aren't really that crucial. Though it is important, for example, in the scenes with Siobhan Williams, that we be at a certain distance and that certain things need to happen between us. But other than that, no.
I got to say, your chemistry with Siobhan and Skyler was off the chain. I don't believe you'd ever met them before this project. And no, I heard there were a bit of larrikins on set as well. They were quite funny. Is that right?
I'm sorry, a bit of what? Larrikins.
Quite funny.
What is larrikins?
Do you know what that means? No.
What does larrikins mean? Larrikins?
Okay.
Thanks. What does that mean? Larrikins?
Someone in the chat, please give me a definition of that word. Maybe it's an Australian word. How do I spell it? Larrikins.
I don't know, Mike. Is it Mike?
It's an Australian English word meaning a mischievous young person. Okay, they're not really mischievous, are they?
So you sort of expected me to know. All right. I see where this interview's at.
But it's a conversation between mates,
I got you now. I got you what's going on over there.
After this interview, you'll be saying mate all the time.
Yeah, mate. You guy. No, sorry, that was Kiwi. That wasn't really Aussie.
No, that was all right. That was all right.
Fair Aussie. Yes, I got very lucky. First of all, those two actors, Siobhan and Skyler, are brilliant. That's all there is to it. They're both highly experienced, seasoned actors that brought 1,000%. And when that happens, you up your game. That's all there is to it, So it's just kind of that. But the chemistry is something that you can't plan. You just have to get lucky. And thank you for the compliment, incidentally. I got very lucky getting those two, especially Siobhan, who I had most of my scenes with, and she's very, very good, and she's very game creatively as well. She came up with all kinds of great bits that we put in there. So,
how does it work? Because as you said, it's a 1,000-page script, and there's so many branching ways it can go. How does that work for you? How do you get in that place where you can sort of maneuver that, and how does that all work? Because I'm just fascinated. Like you can't do 5 or 6 takes, can you? It's go and go, right?
Yes, it's very fast, but it's not for the reasons that traditional it is for there's no film. You're not going to first in the olden days.
Yeah, before digital.
Before digital, the problem was, of course, you wanted to finish your day because it's expensive to make movies, but also there's a limited amount of film in the can, right?
Yep.
Now, of course, with digital, it's endless, but the price of making a movie is still expensive. With gaming, it's upped by a tenfold. So I remember once being told, but I can't remember the exact figure, but something like for every second of video shot, it's not really shot, it's just captured, but for every second, it's something like, $1,500 a second or something insane like that. So, for 30 seconds of film, it's something to the effect of
it's
5G.
astronomical. Yeah.
So we didn't frequently go back and redo things, which I was disappointed about, but I was also very, very happy in a sense, because I'm the kind of actor who's best on the first or second take. Some actors are not. Some actors, depending on what kind of an actor you are, some are better on the second and third, and some actors aren't even good until the 10th or 11th, then they really start to shine. But unfortunately for them, it's very unusual for it to go that far. So I'm very lucky. So I worked in an environment that suited me quite well in that regard.
What direction did you get for this character in terms of like his demeanor? Because I notice very different to just very sort of, I couldn't trust him from the word go. Was that the intention, I'm guessing?
Well, yes, it was written into the part, so that made it easy, first of all.
Yeah.
The second thing was he was not a stereotypical police officer. That was also written into it, so that made it easy as well. He wasn't saying things like, okay, book him,
Yeah.
Hey, detective, over here. There's none of that.
He was pretty sus, wasn't he, from the start?
Yeah, he's a small town detective, which made it small town cop, which made it interesting. The direction I got from Will Byles, the director, was, it always depends on the director you're with. In Will's case, Will's the kind of a director that will let an actor go and do what he needs or she needs to do. And if that's not exactly what he's looking for, he will very gently and subtly bring that person to the place where he needs them to be. So, yeah, sure, we all got a little bit of direction, but I think the casting did 95% of the work. And I think that was a great deal of it,
Guys, if you have any questions for Ted, please send them through. We'll be happy to answer. Let me just get one up here now from October. I feel like I haven't seen you since the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films in my childhood. Did you see No Way Home, Ted?
Sorry, is that 2 questions, or they want to know if I've ever been home since I made Spider-Man? The No Way Home Spider-Man. Okay.
In October, he's been very busy since.
I didn't know if that was a comma or another sentence. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've been pretty quiet. They're not entirely wrong. I tend to work on projects. I'm very lucky that I can sometimes pick and choose my projects, and the last few years been able to do that. And I've chosen to do smaller indie movies that have interested me rather than larger projects. And I suppose, my pocketbook, that's not such a good choice, but in my heart and in my head, I did. So I was very happy with what I did. So yeah, sure. Spidey, I suppose, was the last maybe big feature that I did, but I've been sticking to television and indie movies since then. And now this game has brought me an entirely new world of viewership that I didn't expect. So it's been a lovely surprise in that regard.
Well, you got to do what you're passionate about, don't you?
I think so. If I've seen it. The reason I did that in my career, even though it might not have been perhaps the smartest trajectory, success-wise, I've seen in Hollywood many, many times actors who just chased after what they felt was the best career move all the time. And occasionally they would become big stars doing that, but much, much more frequently, they would be broken people. They would be made crazy and bruised and, become recluses. It would just destroy them. So I realized I didn't want that. And I saw that happening to me in California about 3 or 4 years ago. So I moved back to Michigan. And ever since I've done that, it's been a best part of my career. I've done the best things of my life in the last 4 or 5 years. So
that's amazing that you moved out of LA. I do respect that. So
thank you. Well, I had to. It wasn't healthy for me anymore.
Yeah.
And but it's great to be here, away from it all, just because I feel much more creative here in Michigan. And
it's your hometown, isn't it?
It's my hometown. Yeah, Detroit's my hometown. When I go back to California, I'm just visiting. When I go do movies now, I just visit, have dinner with my friends. I go visit. I miss all my pals, but other than that, glad to be here.
Yeah, that's amazing. I got to say, by the way, those Spider-Man films, you played Hoffman in them.
Yeah.
You didn't have much screen time, but when you were on screen, you maximized it. You were brilliant. Every second you got, you nailed it. So I'll give
thank you.
Got to give you kudos.
Thank you. Well. Thank you. It was a fun character to play. It's good to do. Plus, getting to work with J.K. Simmons was worth every second of that.
What's he like when the camera's off? And because he's very mean to you in the movie, I'm guessing he's not in that character the whole time. He's a goofball or what?
You asking me what he's like in real life?
Well, like when it shuts down, are you guys back and forth, or what's it like?
Yeah. JK's a very warm and funny guy. He's very funny, man. Quick, as you might expect. He thinks quick. He speaks quickly. And also, JK's he's from Detroit too. So, anytime the camera would cut, we talk about the Tigers or, Midtown, what's going on downriver or whatever.
It's just an interesting dynamic because he berates your character, and I don't know. What's it like working with your brother as well? I mean, what's that dynamic like with you two, like working relationship?
It's very good. It's very good. We, of course, growing up, we know each other's tastes quite intimately. And so, I think before he would say anything, I suppose I would know if he liked or didn't like a take pretty fast. So that was a very nice dynamic. And it's nice to work with family members. Very nice.
Yeah. Payton here says, I played the game 2 times. I'm going to play it for a 3rd time today.
Yeah. Oh, today. That's a lot. Well, man, you must dig that game. So, all right, for you. It's a good thing. I'm looking forward to it. I played it on a friend's Xbox, new Xbox. It looks awesome.
Yeah, the graphics. I saw that post you shared of the technology's the same as what they used for Thanos in the Avengers. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. And that the studio where they shot Thanos is also where they shot the Quarry, and that is Digital Domain in Los Angeles. An enormous studio, enormous white space. It's just massive, like a old school Hollywood studio soundstage. Really something.
And if you got the bug, Ted, I imagine you've got the bug now because everyone I speak to, when it's their first motion capture, they just want to do more and more.
It's all I want to do now. Yeah, that's all I want to do. If especially if that same team said, "Okay, can we take up 2 more years of your life starting tomorrow?" I'd be like, "Yeah, absolutely." I wouldn't have to think twice about it. It was this incredible experience, and because you kind of get it all. You don't get that movies. You do get a lot of it, but there's an additional element of after people watch it, they can also play it and figure it out like a puzzle. You can't do that with a movie. You've watched the movie and that's it. Just don't tell the person, if it's a mystery, how it ends. But you can't really screw that up with Quarry because there's, 126 different endings. I couldn't believe it when they said that, but yes, it's true. There really are that many endings.
Ted, I am sorry, but I've played it about 4 or 5 times, and I don't think you've survived. Don't think you've survived once.
Oh yeah, I know. I couldn't make myself survive either. My pals, I was like, I kept blowing my face off. I was like, bam! Oh, my face got blown off. Bam! My face got blown off. I was like, why can't I get past blowing my own face off? I don't know, but couldn't seem to do it.
They love blowing your face off. The animation team. I mean, they just had a ball doing it. Apparently.
I have to. Next time I go to London, England, I'll have to ask those guys at Supermassive why. I don't know.
Yeah, you're the one that got. Even in the jail, you can stuff up and blow your head off in the jail, which I accidentally did as well. So
yeah, that's where that's the time.
That's the time you do it. Yeah.
When I was I couldn't figure out all the time where I'm like wrestling the gun with Siobhan. I'm like, okay, how do I not blow? Bam! Oh, yeah,
Can you talk me through the scene in the dining room, I think near the end, where there's you, Siobhan, who else is in that scene? Ethan and Justice as well, I believe.
Yes.
Do you know the scene I'm thinking of?
Are you speaking? Well, first of all, for those who haven't played the game,
sorry.
Spoiler alert.
This is a spoiler alert, guys.
Spoiler.
This is a spoiler alert.
If you have not played the game and are about to pause this or come back to it later, this will be on YouTube. Do not listen any further. Just know that it is I and not Dan who warned you about that. Just remember that.
Oh,
this is the guy who's supposed to be the gaming master, and I had to do the warning. Okay, just want you to know that. Okay.
Shit, you're showing me.
You are the worst game host in the world.
Oh shit.
So now that's been said. That's out of the way. So that scene that's a tricky scene. That's a reconciliation kind of a scene. That's a scene where it's quite well written, and the game boils down to that moment where you don't know if Siobhan, who of course plays Laura, who now has werewolf powers, is going to just kill Travis. She absolutely can. Right? He locked her up. He's kind of a psycho. He locked her up for 3 months, and what's she going to do? And Justice Smith's character as well. He could shoot me in the face, and all kinds of things could happen. But that dynamic was well structured enough so that when we got to that moment in the script, I think it really played out quite nice. And I think some lovely moments in there, some lovely choices that the gamer can make.
Well, that's the crazy thing.
You can choose to have Siobhan say, F you, I'm going to blow your face off, or I'll turn into a werewolf and I'll bite your face off.
That's what I'm saying. It's so diverse. So as an actor, that must be a dream, a scene like that, because you've got to play every sort of emotion, really.
Yeah, it was. There's a lot going on there. There's an incredible amount going on there. But of course, there's multiple versions of it, and so, like all the other actors in the game, you shoot one version and then another and then another and then another, and you have to sort of turn it around in your head. And it's a bit of a mind puzzle, but it's a fun one to solve. But it's lovely because it's kind of like it's like when you're watching a movie or a TV show and you're like, oh man, you think it should be something you love. If only I could be in there and go back and change that to when blank, right?
Mm.
Like you want, like for example, you know, like Breaking Bad's a good example. You know, for those who've seen the show, is I think mention that because so many have seen it. You go, man, if only Walter would have just ducked or earlier, a second, he'd still be alive. You know, all that kind of stuff. You know, I mean,
I will get to more questions, guys. Keep them coming through, but I do want to pick your brain quickly, Ted, about horror, because I know that's one of your big genres. Any good horror films that you can recommend the last few years that really stood out to you, that were like pushing the medium forward, that you thought they were pushing it forward?
that like were game changers. Shit, I have to think.
What do you think? I'm guessing you've seen a movie like Hereditary or Midsummer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. They're both, of course, those are both absolutely game changers. You know.
Yeah.
There wasn't any movies released in the States like that. That's for sure. That everybody went, what the F is this? Nobody could, you know, it was mind blowing. I went to both of those movies thinking I was just going to see another standard horror movie, and I was greatly shocked and surprised by both of them. So, those, you know, and then there's movies too. There's horror movies that, you know, lately I've been going back and watching classics. You know, I don't mean classics like cat people classics, like back in the 50s and 40s, but
like The Thing or something like that, or
like 70s and 80s, 90s classics. You know, The Thing. You know, the 80s was actually, you know, when people think of 80s horror these days, they tend to think of it in terms of like the movies that the Quarry was referencing, like My Bloody Valentine and Sleepaway Camp and stuff. But that was also a great period for really high quality, slick ones that people tend to not think as much about, such as The Thing is a great example. David Cronenberg, that's John Carpenter's version of The Thing. David Cronenberg's version of The Fly, both incredible. Carpenter's Pristine.
I'm guessing you've heard of Candyman.
Candyman too. Yes, and I am in. I thought that turned out quite well. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you've been going back. So you recommend some of the old school classics?
Another one too, which is more of a mystery, but that really kind of got lost in the mix, which is a shame. Is Alan, the British director Alan Parker, who's best known for many other movies, but Parker directed Mickey Rourke in Angel Heart, which was a book adaptation by a guy named William Horchensberg. It's just an amazing version of that book. It's just incredible. It's really beautifully done, beautifully shot. Robert De Niro plays the devil. I mean, what else do you need to know to want to see the movie? So it's awesome.
That's pretty. I hope that was in the trailer, because that would have sold me.
Yeah, I think it was.
Dan, you are the GOAT. Ted Raimi? How do you do this, Dan? How did I get
How do you do it, Dan? I'd like to know too. How did you do it?
It's the charm, right, Ted?
It's all the charm.
Yeah. Ted, do you like milkshakes? If so, what's your favorite flavor? Sorry.
Yes, I love milk. Yes, I love milkshakes. I pretty much like all the flavors. I don't like chunky things in my milkshake though, like so when they put like chocolate chips and M&Ms. I hate that crap. That's for ice cream. That's not for milkshakes. So just know that.
They also say, I love you, Ted. You're an amazing actor and an amazing human being.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody. This lovely, lovely comments today. Thank you.
If I read them all, Ted, come back, because there's so many. I mean, this will, if you're feeling down, this is the video to come back to.
Thank you.
James,
I shall do that.
James Tukino, Ted, you killed it in The Quarry. I love the game. What was your favorite scene that you were a part of?
Oh, my favorite scene in The Quarry to do. Well, I suppose I don't really have favorites like other actors, like, oh, I love doing this the best and that the best, because my enjoyment level working on a movie, or in this case, a video game, relies on just the challenges I sort of get, while I'm there. It's like everybody else. When it's a more interesting day, it's a more interesting day. And figuring out that dynamic in the jail cell scenes with Siobhan and Skyler was the most fun, because they were really quite difficult to do because, well, you know, they're just, you have two actors, you know, both those guys are so good, and figuring out what to do with each of them during each of those multiple scenes was challenging. So I think I had the most fun doing that.
Yeah, no, it stands out as the interrogation scene as well.
Oh yes, that was that was difficult to do. I had a difficult time with that.
Why that one? Why was that difficult?
Well, because at that point, spoiler alert again, please pause your interview here and come back to it later if you have not played the game. Just know this is the second time I've had to do this with the gaming master here, so I'm just saying. I ain't saying anything. I'm just saying.
Hey Ted,
Okay.
it's a prerequisite that people have to finish the game. It's phenomenal. You got to play it. Come on, you should have already played it by now. You know
that was challenging because I had to play Travis at that point as, of course, he's trying to threaten her to get information out of her, but also he needs her help. So it was a challenging combination. He can't be too brutal or too, you know, verbally rough with her. He had to be kind of walk a fine line. So it was pretty challenging, you know. And then to you know, make matters more, I don't think difficult, but more challenging is that, you know, I've got a lot of help and, you know, a lot of energy also coming from Ms. Williams. So that was kind of made it awesome.
Well, yeah, there's two ways she can go. She can go more subdued, or she can go pretty fiery, can't she?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Great writing.
Yeah.
Fantastic Assassin 58. I love how in the original Spider-Man 2 movie, Ted's character Hoffman mentions Doctor Strange, and now his brother just directed Doctor Strange 2.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I think that a rather coincidence. I think. I don't think that
wasn't planned to go
20 years ago. No.
No.
Maybe, I don't know how long that was. 15 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was just a coincidence, but it wound up being sort of fun and cool, you know.
If they did a Spider-Man 4, are you in, Ted?
In what way? I mean, I would certainly want to see it. I don't know if I'd be in it. That's only.
If they said come back, would you do it?
As Hoffman?
Well, Hoffman or maybe a villain.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah?
No. Mm-hmm. Sure. It's a great franchise, and, you know, I love Spider-Man like everybody else, you know. It's fun as hell. Who doesn't want to be Spider-Man? Who hasn't felt picked on, you know? We all have, and that's why it's such a brilliantly written character by Stan Lee, you know. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was picked on myself. I am myself the well, I got bullied all the time back when I grew up, you know. It was coming around the early 80s, though. It was all, you know, it was pretty violent. It's much more, a little less texting, a little more shoving. So a little bit different. But when I got out of high school, you know, I didn't want to be picked on anymore, even though high school was over. You kind of still have that in your head, you know, as we all do. You know, we carry that with us our whole lives. And so I decided to join the force. And I went to school. I went to Michigan State, and I took a year of pre-law to be a cop. You know, I was like, okay.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Find any bullies out there, I'm going to take care of them myself, you know?
Yeah, right.
No bullies. I will take care of them. So I took a year of pre-law, and just at the end of that, my, you know, pre-law 103, I was like, no, I just love movies too much, and I decided to come out to Hollywood. So, but it was nice that it came around in that regard, that, you know, I finally, you know, got to play a cop. So it was very gratifying.
Yeah. Well, do you have any advice for people that are getting bullied? Bit of a different question, I know, but seeing that you've been through it.
Different for every person, and I don't want to guide anybody wrong. I would certainly, really, it's not my place to say.
Yeah.
But I would say, I do know this, you know, look, I grew up in big cities my whole life, either Detroit and its surroundings, New York and Los Angeles. You know, I was never lived in a small town. So I do know that, you know, one thing bullies don't like is to be challenged. That's it. So if you can challenge them, however you're able to do that in a safe way, go do that. You know, that's what I would suggest. You know, don't take it, because it's just going to get worse.
Jack,
there's my life advice to you, for what it's worth.
I appreciate that. Jack says, what was it like to approach a character like Travis, who can either be sympathized with or viewed as a monster, depending on how the player plays it?
Well, first of all, that all those choices are all the writers, and especially the creator, which is Will Byles, and the head writer, Graham Resnick. He created all of that. All those complexities are already in. So I had nothing to do with it. No actor does, really. However, to present that, you have to be careful. You have to run a fine line, because if you're going to play it all one way or another, you'll spoil it, But then that's what makes any good character, in my opinion, that I watch in a movie interesting, is that they're just one way that's boring, Muhahaha is boring, So I love everything. It's very dull.
Yeah.
And no one wants to see that crap. So, just try and stay away from those tropes if you can.
Now, I've got to ask you, because, 46 years of friendship, 10 plus films, Bruce Campbell, tell us that friendship, it's lasted so long. You guys are, a dynamic duo. What's the secret? Why? What's, and I was laughing, by the way, Ted. I was watching some outtakes where you were rapping. And man, that was fantastic. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Takes from rapping. From
I think
what movie?
I think it was from
Quarry?
Xena. Or
Oh,
something.
that's possible.
Yeah, it's on YouTube somewhere.
I believe it.
You're rapping.
Oh, yeah, that was a DVD extra section.
DVD extra, yeah.
We had made for someone uploaded it. Well, why we're so close? Well, we first of all, we live across the country from each other, and finally he owes me $50, and he doesn't want that. He doesn't want to pay me back, and so we continue this sort of friendship, because he knows as soon as I see him again, I'm gonna ask him.
Right.
No. I don't know. I mean, I've known the guy since I was 11 or 12.
He babysitted you, is that right?
Yeah, he would babysit me. Sometimes they drove me to, school if I missed the bus. If I'd see him in the morning, or if I missed the bus going home, he'd pick me up. I mean, he would hang out at my house a lot, because he was friends with my older brothers, and so we got to be pals too. So I've known him for a long time.
Yeah, you guys have got to work together again, eh?
Yeah, we. I'm sure it'll come around. I mean, we can't seem to find 3-4 years in our lives where we don't work on some movie or TV show. So I'm sure there's one coming around quite soon.
You think you could convince him to get in the spandex for a MOCAP game?
I'm sure he'd probably want to himself. I don't think I'd have to convince him. I'm sure he'd, probably enjoy it. I think, if I could say.
Couple more, Ted. I really appreciate your time, mate.
You betcha.
Is there any advice that you could give to maybe upcoming actors or anyone in the creative field that you would give?
Yes. First of all, there's no need, if you're starting in the business and you want to be a movie actor, don't bother with LA or New York. Go to Atlanta if you're in the United States.
Really?
Because, oh yeah, absolutely. Because they shoot tons and tons and tons and tons of things in Atlanta. Acting work is plentiful. Living is cheap. That's it. LA, it's scarce. Living's expensive. Same with New York. The heck with those two cities. I recommend Atlanta. That's what I would do if I were starting today. That's number one. Number two, I would say to work on being an actor, the best thing to do is just start observing everybody. Just observe carefully. That's your most important, it's your most important tool. And stay away from high-end acting schools. They're all BS, every one of them. New York University, Yale, Harvard, Dartmouth, that nonsense. Not that anyone in their right effing mind would do that. To spend $150,000 on acting classes. But even if your parents are loaded or you happen to come into that kind of money, you're wasting 4 years of your life.
Wow. Don't
do it. I took out.
Oh, have you done that?
I worked my way through NYU and did that whole thing. That was the biggest waste.
So
of time of my life.
You're talking from experience here.
I'm talking from experience. Don't do it. Number three. do as much theater as you possibly can. That will teach you like nothing else will teach you. That'll give you stamina, teach you about story structure, everything you need to know. Do that. And, you know, stay away from every single acting book out there. They're all BS, every one of them except two. And I think I've read them all. One is 3 Uses of the Knife by David Mamet. And the second one I would read is Zen and the Art of Archery. So the first book will teach you everything you need to know about acting, which, and incidentally, this book is about 25 pages long. That's everything you need to know. Everything else is practice.
Wow. Yeah.
Because it's a craft. It's a craft. It's a trade. It's not. Some people will argue with this, but
it's experience. Yeah.
There's very, you know, if I gave a seminar on it, it would take about 2 hours at most. And everything else you have to practice. You know, it's a little bit like, I don't know, sewing, I suppose. Technically, you could learn everything you need to know quite quickly, but it takes years to master it.
It's like gaming. You can't get skill like myself without many years.
And finally, the fourth thing is run away from acting. I mean, run. Do not walk, run. If there is anything else in your life, and I mean anything, that you find appealing or attractive, go do that. Go do that.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. I do hear that a lot, actually. Only do it if you love it. If you effing love it, eh? If you can't get enough. And I'm guessing you were in that boat yourself. There was nothing else you could see yourself doing, even the cop.
No.
Yeah.
No, and I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be a couple other things too, but mostly a police officer. And then I was like, no, I just really wanted to be an actor. So I kind of took off of that, you know. And I swear, not a year of my life has gone by where at one point during that year I went, should have been a cop. At some point, you know, when it gets hard, you know, we all think about things that we wish we had done and taken another bifurcation that didn't happen. So it does happen like that.
You were a pretty good cop in this game, mate. Is there anything you want to say to the fans that are watching around the world? Yeah, there is.
There really is. I want to thank everybody for the support and kind words I've gotten. It's so overwhelming. I don't even know where to begin. I've never, ever been on a project. I've been very fortunate. I've been on many successful movies, and I'm very, very lucky and blessed actor, but I've never had the kind of verbal and kind support that I've gotten from people who played the game and fans. So thank you all very much. I know that I read many of the comments that you send, and I'm greatly appreciative of them all. So thank you.
Let me quickly read some here for you. Absolute King. Ted, you're amazing, handsome, brilliant actor. Ted, you're a legend. You're the best sheriff. Protect this man at all costs. And the list goes on. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything we can get Travis Hackett? Can he say anything to Dan, Ted? Is that possible?
To Dan?
Yeah, maybe you can tell him...
so you want like some to move from the game, but you, okay.
Yeah, maybe like...
I got
it.
Hold on.
Does this look like the Harbinger Hotel, Dan? I don't know. I'll let you...
How don't we do, let's see. Hold on. Do you want to tell me, Dan, what you are doing on this channel this late at night?
Sorry, officer. I didn't mean it.
What do you think, folks? You believe Dan, or should we just arrest his ass? Arrest his ass, yeah.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate your time. I hope you had a good chat, had a good time, mate.
I did. Thank you very much, and thanks to everyone who's watching the channel now and later. I greatly appreciate the support. It's been overwhelming and lovely. So thank you, Dan.
No, man, it's been an absolute honor, and I wish you more continued success, and hopefully we do this again for your next big game.
Yes, that'd be lovely. I'd love it. Thank you.
All right, Ted, have a great day. Guys, make sure you follow Ted on Instagram and Twitter. Ted Raimi, I believe it is, on both.
Just on everything, yeah.
Beautiful.
Be good. Be well.
You too, man. Take care.
You, matey.
Family is the most important thing in the world. But if your whole family, like every last one of them decided to jump down the bottom of a well and they're all just hanging on the end of a rope, how can one person be expected to pull them all back out? You can't.
And there you have it, everybody. That is Ted Raimi. I really hope you enjoyed that conversation with me and Ted. It is an absolute pleasure. Now, guys, we have another guest that I want to announce today. They are from the Quarry, and they'll be coming on the show this Sunday. This Sunday, it's happening. But before we do, I just want to thank you all for tuning in today. It was a pleasure to have Ted. He was not supposed to be on for that long, guys. He gave us a lot of extra time, and I really appreciate that, Ted. He was only supposed to give us 30 minutes there, so I believe we went over. So hopefully he doesn't mind. But that was a great chat. We covered a lot of stuff. We really did. We covered the game, Spider-Man, all sorts of things. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thank you everyone for the super chats. People becoming a member. That keeps the show running. Really, really appreciate it. Once again, super chats from Little Game Boy 5, Jack, Fantastic Assassin 58, James 2 Kino, Giggle Monster 35, Dogboy 76, Noctober, Payden. Absolute legends. I really appreciate the support. Okay, so the next guest, guys. Okay, before I announce it, who do you want to see on the show? Who do you want to see on the show from the Quarry? Thank you, Star Violin. I appreciate that. Siobhan, Miles, Siobhan, all of them. Laura, Siobhan, David Arquette, Justice Smith. All right, well, why don't I bring up the graphic? Why don't I bring up the graphic, guys? And actually, should I bring it up on my phone, maybe? Should I bring it up on the computer? Let's bring it up on my phone. All right, ready? So this Sunday, okay, at 7 p.m. PST. Okay, I'll get the video up after this so you can set a reminder. 7 p.m. Sunday, PST. Okay, so a bit of a later one. We're having this guest on. You ready? Here we go. Did you get that? Let me get the image up. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa! Where did I go? Shit! It's so huge. The graphic is so huge. Your prayers have been answered. Siobhan Williams, Laura, is coming on the show Sunday, guys. We got her. So that will be happening Sunday, and also 2 other characters are coming on the show as well. So we'll announce them soon after, and hopefully more will pile in. But there you have it, guys. Siobhan Williams. So hopefully you'll join for that one Sunday, 7 p.m. PST. Guys, make sure you follow me and Ted on Twitter and Instagram at Dan Allen Gaming, at Ted Raimi. I hope you enjoyed today. And I really appreciate you all. Mary, James Tukino, Star Violin, Trissy MS, Strawbeb, Cade, Yuli, Mario, Alice. Sincerely, Dogboy. It's been a pleasure. Take care, everyone. I'll see you on Sunday. See you later, guys.